welcome to my brand new podcast, Take One with Samantha Fremont. Thank you so much for joining me. I've been very, very excited to have you back on the show as the one and only returning guest on Earl Grey. And honestly, a fan favourite. So we have Marceline Rose Di Bartolomeo, who is a great friend of mine and also a creative all-rounder who started out... actually, how did you start out? That's probably the best question.
When do you... Okay, that takes me way back. Like, what... I guess, like... if we were to start from, like, strictly, like, university onwards, started with me transferring to Melbourne Uni and starting a creative writing club there, Creative Writing Society, claws, all of that jazz, getting involved in multiple theatre, like groups in multiple theatre shows, including Therapy in Hell, which I wrote. That was such a fun show to, like... I would love to one day be able to, like stage that, because, like, back in the day was... I believe ended up being a Zoom show because it was written like during all the lockdowns and stuff. So I would love to stage that one day. As a that would be great actually. I'm rambling.
Your creative journey started at the University of Melbourne.
Well, that's where it kind of like... Technically, I've been doing creative stuff from a very young age, but that's where, like, really kind of started to take hold, I would say. So yeah, and, like, been in a bunch of crave roles over the years. Sorry, there's too much to talk about. Like, I'm just like...
Yeah, no, don't worry. I was like, how do I even introduce you? Because there's, like, just so much that you've done. So, I mean, this is definitely not the most graceful intro I've done, but definitely the...
That's okay, it's still an intro.
Yeah, but I will say there's... I think, honestly, Therapist in Hell is probably a good place to start with discussing your creative journey as someone who is, I guess, turning your focus towards creative writing. So, Therapy in Hell was a play that did you write that by yourself, or did you write that with a team of your friends from uni?
So it started out as a script I wrote on my own for the Melbourne Uni Fringe Festival that like called Month Fest. Like, it's like a very like a take on Fringe Festival, so to speak. Like, it's like one of the largest film festivals in the Southern Hemisphere. The university level happens every 2 years or so. Eventually, as we got through, like, rewrites and, like, redrafting, at a certain point, a lot of, like, the editing, like, was taken on by a good friend, colleague of mine at the time, Charlotte Armstrong, and like, I think by the time we got to, like, the very final versions of it, like, it basically, like, it started off as just a project that I had written by myself, but by the end of it, it was something that, like, she had, like, invested quite a bit of writing as well, so it kind of became kind of like a co-writing, like, kind of towards the end, with the amount of rewrites that she helped out with towards the end. So, but yeah, it was also a script that I would end up like directing and production managing. That was a lot of hats I wore for that one. So it really was, like, kind of like my foray into theatre, and, like, really, like, just taking on leadership roles back in the day for that. Yeah.
Yeah, that I remember you telling me, like, for the first time about therapy and hell, and honestly, it's such an interesting idea, and also to hear that it was shaped by I guess you and Charlotte as well. Like, it evolved into something that became, I guess, very personal for the both of you. But can you explain what Therapy in Hell is about?
Oh yeah, more than happy to. Therapy in Hell is quite like a fun like concept of what if Hell like will have his own like therapy program. And so like it actually starts out with like the main character Morgan, like a failing kind of therapist of sorts, not really like not really doing well in that profession, quite burnt out and all that. Ended up just suddenly dying on the job and being sent to hell, and then being recruited by Lucifer, the CEO of hell, into implementing hell's very first therapy program. And a lot of wacky hijinks ensue throughout as Morgan like has to basically like just take on this big project and like ends up one of the like deserts of hell. Charlie, I'm sorry, my mind just blanked there for a moment there. Would end up like before I'm finding kind of like a mentoring kind of role as someone who's also a therapist down there to like help Morgan out, and it's like this kind of like personal like journey of Morgan as they like go through the motions, like trying to jumpstart this never before seen concept in hell before, and like it's a bunch of demons along the way. Amon, it's one of my favorite characters actually from the show. Like Amon, the very concept of death themselves. Like who's in the show as well. So it I won't spoil the endings. I will eventually stage the show. Like it's been something that I've been like wanting to do for a long while now, but it's something that gets postponed like year by year, but like eventually will hopefully happen. So, but like it is quite like a show that I'm still like quite proud to this day.
Yeah, it's amazing to hear you talk about it, and I can see how passionate you are about it whenever you talk about the show. And I honestly am looking forward to the day it comes to the theatre, because doing it on Zoom is one thing, but being able to have it on the stage with the different costuming and lighting and just like the full immersive theatre experience is going to be incredible.
Oh, for sure. And like the original vision of the show was to be like an in-person kind of show, like, and like that's like one of the things like I know more reasons why I do want to like stage one. I never really got the opportunity back in the day because eventually the whole monthverse that year had to go online, like due lockdowns and all that stuff were happening around that time. So I would want to be able to have his own in-person like season, and for other people to be able to like see like the original concept like live on stage in person, like that would be a dream come true, really.
Yeah. And I will say that you've been developing your directing experience through and also your writing experience through the Scripts Roulette podcast. Can you tell us a little bit about what this is before we dive into to what you've been doing with it?
Certainly. So Script Roulette is a radio play workshop group that I'm a part of. Like we meet up like once every month. It's one of the many initiatives through the Art Center. Like the one of the producers, Evram, actually both producers, Evram and Benny, good friends of mine, and like Evram, we did a lot of stuff back at Sin, like a lot of radio stuff back in the day. So it's like the kind of like radio play group where we meet every month. We write like radio plays. We we table read them, and then we produce like radio plays like every now and then. And one of the ones that was produced quite recently will soon hopefully be on the air eventually in the next couple of months will be my very radio play Grim Chronicles, which Simon's gonna.
So what's this one about?
Yeah, Grim Chronicles. It's like another fun show that looks at the afterlife, this time at kind of like this concept of what if there's like a program of Grim Reapers, and like that it's kind of like a sort of spiritual successor to Therapy in Hell. It like my like headcanon takes place after Therapy in Hell, where Death, who's called like Adler, in this show, basically just ends up making their own like program of Grim Reapers to like divvy up the work that's required to like ferry souls into the afterlife programs that they're meant to be ferried into, but like they're also looking for a successor to like lead the programs so they can finally retire. And coincidentally, the main character, Lana, ends up dying and getting sent to purgatory and like getting recruited into this like afterlife kind of like Grim Reaper program as one of the new junior Grims, and it's like kind of like takes a little bit of inspiration as well from other shows like The Office and The Good Place, in like just comedies of like lampoon like parts of like kind of like the afterlife being looked at from more bureaucrat kind of like lens. It's a show, it's a radio play that that like the pilot will soon be on the Arts Centre website and other streaming platforms, and I am also writing like the rest of the series as well, very slowly, but like I am slowly like doing that. So it's been a very fun process, and before I keep on going, was there another question you want to ask that I felt?
No, I was actually going to say it's so interesting that you're taking like something like hell and death, which are like such heavy themes, and turning them into something that I guess is about, like, in a way it is about healing, and it's about getting the help you need, not having to bear the burden alone. And I think that's honestly a really good take on something that, a lot of people like to, I guess, discuss these things as, as being bad, not as places that can be changed or ideas that can be changed for the better. And sure, introducing bureaucracy also shows those obstacles to changing the way people view these heavy themes.
Yeah. It's like these like things like death and like the afterlife are things that I've been fascinated by from a very young age, and it's like the kind of things where I've been wanting to explore in fiction, but I've always like I've been wanting to like find ways to like make them like a bit more approachable, a bit more down to earth, and like not like just more more digestible overall. And I found like in like injecting a bit of like bureaucracy into Hal's way of governance or the afterlife systems, like the Grim Reaper program, all that kind of stuff. Like it not only makes it like more approachable, but also a lot more fun when writing for such concepts. And like it's the stuff that I really do have a lot of fun writing for, and it's like that kind of like that like union of like high fantasy concepts, but also like more down to earth like concepts as well. It's like it's the kind of like stuff I do like writing for. So yeah,
it's it's really cool to I guess you're taking a really unique approach to it, and I love that it comes from a place of personal interest. It's one of those things like that nobody really knows what happens after you die, but to at least be able to speculate about it, and also to have a bit of, I guess, maybe not like speculation in like the serious way, but to have, I guess, speculate about what could be and how it could be, the next step in a journey rather than the end, is very very transformative, I think. But yeah, so the so what you're doing for Script Roulette, it's a multi-part story, right?
Pretty much, yeah. So the pilot was written ages ago, and like I directed the recording of it. Like it was like the kind like, well, it happened a while ago. Oh my gosh.
What goes into directing a radio play as opposed to like theatre?
So in the case of the radio play itself, because I in terms of like the directing, it's like more like you're in like the studio like booth, like away from like the voice actors are like they're voicing the roles, and like you're basically like, it's kind of like in a way similar to like when you try and do takes of like a film scene. You're like giving your actors like notes on how like recreate the same sequence, and then once you get a couple of takes, you're like, yep, that's great, and then like the editor then like puts them together. It's like kind of like that, but you're more focusing on like the voice specifically of like how like the inflections of their take, and like how like if they're saying like the lines in the way that like you want them to say them, if they're like really getting into the character of sorts of like. And it's a kind of thing that like I guess like it's something that like I'm still like learning like here and there, but like I never got a chance to like to do like this kind of directing. It wasn't for the script program, so I'm very thankful to everyone and Ben for giving that opportunity. So yeah, I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, it's I was just thinking about like, you know, how I guess it's kind of like how cartoons or animated shows are put together in a way, just except your focus is specifically on creating like audio content, whereas if you were doing, I guess, a cartoon or a video game or whatever it is, like you'd have that visual element as well on top of that to focus on. But yeah, does that are there like certain challenges with writing specifically for audio that you haven't, I guess, experienced in another medium?
A couple of them. One of the very first drafts of Green Chronicles, the pilot script, was way too much visual language in the big print. Because I come from like a more like theater and like film kind of background when it comes to like scripts, so I tend to like visualize what's happening like on the stage or like on the camera, and like try and transpose that onto the big print as vividly as I can. But because you can't get a lot of that visual detail through audio, and there's a couple of workarounds, like couple
Exposition?
exposition for a start, as well as like certain like audio cues or narration can help out a lot as well. But it's only so much you can do, and so I had to like really like tweak the big print and like make like a lot of like a lot of the things that wouldn't translate over the visual like over audio. Like I had to like really like work to like make the overall radio play something that could translate like much more seamlessly into audio, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So, yeah, I've been listening to a few like audio dramas and radio plays myself, just to, I guess, become more familiar with it. And yeah, it's really, I guess, like you can kind of see what works really well when you take out the visual component, but then also some things where I'm like, okay, I feel like a visual component would be great, but yeah, ultimately it's its own medium, and yeah, that presents, I guess, it's how do I explain it? Like the constraints that you have shape what your final piece is going to look like.
Oh, exactly. And that just reminds me of another issue we ran into when it came to the recording itself, or the recording day, was that we simply ran out of time to record everyone's lines. So what we did was we went through our main characters' like lines, like and like got as many takes we could, and like any like like there was like a couple of like lines here and there from like my characters, or like just one, or like certain like audio, like someone was wobbling over a phone, for instance, like on a phone call with Lana, like her dad, so like that was recorded separately, along with a couple of other things. So like it's after that day it became very clear, like in future, like have to really stick to the time of like we got this amount of time to record everyone's lines, so like go try and make sure we don't go over time. But some things are unavoidable. Like I like an actor might show up late, for instance, and so it might delay like when they can do their line takes, for instance, among other things. So just got to be as prepared as possible for the day, really.
How do like the actors record? Are they in the booth together and then they're, like saying their lines like to each other, or
So the way we did recordings, and this was done at the channel, like the art center has like a little recording booth, as well as a studio like next door. The recording booth only has room for one person, so what we did was like we had each person one at a time record their lines separately. We did have the other actors in the studio at times to like provide like cues to help with the recording process.
oh yeah.
But we also have had, not my radio play specifically, but other radio plays, some other radio plays have been recorded at the... Sorry, I forget the name of the library.
State Library?
Not State Library.
Kathleen Smyme?
Kathleen Sim Library, that's the one.
Yeah.
That Kathleen Sim Library has a recording booth in there, and it's a bit more, it's more spacious, like the space for the actual like the recording like booth itself compared to the one at the art center, which lends itself much better to group recordings in that sense. So it does make that part easier. I was actually inducted a little while ago at that space there, so like the future episodes of Good Chronicles, for instance, would most likely take place at that space, as it's very difficult to get a booking at the channel, especially nowadays, because that space is currently being used for a lot of different art center projects. So we had to like future script roulette radio plays will be recorded at either Kathleen Sim Library or an entirely different space that we haven't yet worked out. So probably Kathleen Sim for the time being.
Yeah, it's cool to see that there are like all of these different spaces that you can go and record. I feel like a lot of people just, I guess, kind of view audio recording as like, only taking place in one type of space and not realizing that there's, I guess, a few different ways to go about it, and you can choose what works best for your piece.
Yeah, like there's a lot of places that like you can record like audio at. Like there's even like podcasting like spaces at the libraries at University of Melbourne. Specifically, Bailey Library has a couple podcasting spaces there. And the space here, the very space we're doing this interview. So
yeah, this studio actually is or they call it the on-air studio, and it can actually broadcast to 3RRR. So, but I know when I, as part of my studies last year, I did a unit where we actually did broadcast on 3RRR, but we went specifically to their studios, and I think being there in their studios and learning from the people who work there really helped shape what we were able to create in that space. And yeah, and here I feel like it's kind of like a bit more free reign as well, because without the pressure of going live, you can turn this into a podcasting studio. You can turn this into even just a place where you record voice memos with these fancy mics that we've got. So yeah, it kind of becomes, I guess, a bit of a multi-purpose space.
You can even use the studio, like, just from the setup of it, and for those listening who can't, actually, the cameras are there, you can see the space.
Yeah,
like
so this is going to be a video podcast where on Spotify you can turn the camera, like, you can turn the video component on or off. I'm not sure what it's like on Apple at the moment, but yeah, at least for Spotify you can turn the video on or off to also shape how the listener or audience experiences.
Yeah. I was gonna say after that you can even record like radio plays like in this very kind of space, like group takes, like, because that's how way back before Script Roulette was an art studio like initiative. It used to have episodes be recorded at in studios, and we used to record in the studios that were back in the old buildings back in the day. So like that takes me back, actually. Oh my gosh.
I went there, I went past, like, the other day, and I'm like, oh my god, we used to be on air in those studios. I remember doing Artsman with you, and then I remember like that one season that we had where I was doing Artsmitten for an hour and then walking next door to do celebrity stuff for the next hour. Because basically we weren't sure if celebrity stuff was going to be approved, and then it was approved after I'd signed on to host Artsmitten, so we were trying to figure out a way to make it work. But it's one of those things where you realize that that you can do, I guess, different kinds of shows and have different dynamics as well.
Exactly.
And I also want to go on to, I guess, another cool project that you're working on. So you've been a writer and editor for the University of Melbourne's student magazine Farrago for many, many years, and you're now working on a creative writing anthology.
To clarify, I've been an active contributor for Farrago for a number of years, since 2019 actually, in many roles, writing, sub-editing, and a bunch more I can't think of right now. This year specifically, I'm one of the editors. And one of the things we're doing is the anthology, Above Water Creative Writing Anthology. And ideally it will be like out to the public in about the next month actually.
Oh wow. So is this a book that you could like buy at bookstores, or is it
we would be giving them out for free actually.
Oh great.
Thankfully we get a budget from SAP money from like the UMSU that allows us to print magazines and give them out to students. So the cost of those magazines isn't on the student, it's on the department that gets funded by UMSU, the student union at the University of Melbourne. So a bit more about the anthology itself and how it came about. It's a creative competition usually held once every year. And it's like a collaboration between the MIA and Creative Arts departments. MIA department is also the department of Farrago as well and all that. And we didn't actually have a bubble last year. We had a similar competition happened between the MIA department and Claws called Below Earth. But
Claws is the creative writing. Wait, no,
creative writing society. Yes.
Yeah.
We brought Farrago. We brought back a bubble with creative arts, and early in the year we opened submissions for creative writing submissions from students, and they've been collated. And in a month's time, students will be able to read a short list of works in a nice little book. And we decided to go pretty retro and having a kind of similar style to the earlier editions from back in the day, because it's our 100th year anniversary, 20th edition of Above Water. So kind of made a special kind of year for that.
Yeah, special for very special, and it's great that you've got, I guess, your inspiration for what this is going to look like. Is it going to be so as a creative writing anthology, is it a book of different poems, or is it a bit of all sorts of different types of work?
It'll be a combination of some poetry, prose, a couple of creative non-fiction pieces in there as well, and a script or two might make it in there as well, actually.
Oh, I love that. To be able to have so many different types of writing there.
Yes. And it will be in a nice little A5 book, roughly 48 pages. The final amount you will see when it eventually gets published, and the it's the kind of thing that I'm just excited it's back, because it's a special little anthology, and it's really cool to just go through each year's submissions and just really see what each anthology comes up with, because each anthology has its own little story to tell from the years, and it's just I can't wait to see how the final product ends up looking.
Yeah, it sounds like it sounds like something really special. And I want to ask also, as an editor on this, how do you shape how it comes together? Like, what's your role?
Essentially one of the main people overseeing like the production of the anthology. So, I I took on a lot of like the blind of the submissions, and like I'll be the one putting together the sort list of submissions in a layer for that. And like it's the kind of oh, also I've been in contact with some judges for short submissions, so we'll get some University of Melbourne staff and alumni to like judge the shortlist pieces, and those pieces will get like the people who submit the shortlist of pieces, they might get a prize for their work. So there is that as well.
So will there be like best poem, best script, or best emerging writer, or
something like that. Each year the prizes differ depending on what we get. This year we got specifically a lot of like prose and poetry, so we'll most likely have a prize for those best prose, best poetry most likely. But you have to read the anthology and attend a launch party to see what kind of prizes we end up giving out.
Yeah, I'll when is the launch party so we can mark our calendars?
November 14th.
November 14th. All right.
And it'll be held at specifically the new Ida Bar that got opened up earlier on the year.
Ah, awesome. The that seems like a really good event to go to, and also a great way to mingle with other creatives at the University of Melbourne, and also just in Melbourne in general. So, yeah.
I'm just really excited about it. Like I it's one of the things that has made this year quite exciting. So like I can't wait to see like how unfold the end.
Yeah. And what do you have any, I guess, plans for 2026?
Oh, that's a very good question actually. Probably will be more script relay projects, specifically Grim Chronicles. Like I'm hoping to have more scripts written up and produced as well, hopefully next year. I'm also this year I haven't really done much like theater stuff actually, so like next year I might get back into that. As well as well, this is like really ambitious, but like I've been wanting to get back to novel writing as well, so you might don't hold me to this, but you might see a novel for me maybe next year, the year after, we'll see.
So you're gonna start writing. Is this your first novel, or?
I've attempted writing novels in the past. And including a collaborative novel for Bestie, which is still on the works, but we haven't worked on this in some time. So like that will be more of an ongoing long-term project. That one was actually inspired by a dating campaign that I was in way back in like 2020. So it's like it's like an epic. We've already written like about 20 to 5,000 words on that.
Oh wow, that's a lot of effort.
And we haven't even finished the first act.
Oh wow.
Yes.
Honestly, this is I'm honestly really intrigued when you guys, I guess, get further along in the development. Let me know what it's shaping up to be like. But I know for novel writing specifically, you go through a lot of different, I guess, planning stages as opposed to, I guess, different formats. Like you'll have your first draft, and then also the editors play a role in shaping the story, and so there's a lot of, I guess, collaboration in making a novel. Is that right?
Oh, very much so. Like from my experience in terms of like Farrago, and like the relationship between editor and the writers, like very collaborative, very, very creative, and like it's like the kind of thing that like can make what was already a great piece of work like even greater. So, yeah, it's like I said, don't hold me to this, but like that is one of the ambitious plans I've got for next year, to like at the very least get a novel to the point where I would be ready to see an editor about it, because like it is something that like I've been like it's been something I've been wanting to do for a very long time. I've like my very first novel attempt was like over a decade ago, and like that specific
Was
novel,
that at high school?
that was at high school, yeah.
Oh wow! To think of to think of little Marcy writing a writing a first draft of a novel, and then being able to, I guess, hone your craft, and and I guess now you're ready to make another run at it with with all of the skills that you've developed over the years. It's kind of a full circle thing, right?
In a lot of ways, yeah. It's like I said, it's going to be very ambitious, but like it's one of the things I'm looking forward to next year is just more writing. Like this year's been a lot more specifically like overseeing things, like editorial kind of things, but like I like to get back into the nitty-gritty writing things from next year. So yeah.
I'm looking forward to to seeing what's ahead, for you, and I'll definitely make sure to keep following you on Instagram and checking out Farrago as well. But yeah, thank you so much for coming on the show. It's been absolutely wonderful to have you on. So
yeah, it's been great being back on here. Thank you for having me on here again. It's always lovely to talk about my creative like projects and plans. So yeah.
Thank you.